Welcome back to Marysvale, Utah for part 3 of our first ever Southwest Can-Am Maverick Trail meet here on the Paiute Trail. This is the last day that all 3 groups are running, the last day of planned and organized routes, so we're going to make the best of it, save the best for last. We are heading up to Barney Lake. We're in group number 3, kind of picking up the rear. Group 1 and group 2 have already left. They're on their way. But let me kind of take a second and show you the route that we're planning for today. Right now we are headed east out of Marysvale on the O2, where we will grab the bottom of the Barney Lake Trail. We'll take that all the way up the mountain to Barney Lake, hang out there for a minute, snacks, lunch, pictures, all that good stuff. From there we will grab the O1 and head south just a couple of miles, and we will make a left turn onto Trail 89. Now, we did Trail 89 yesterday, but we're just going to do the bottom half of Trail 89 just so that we can get to Trail 87. Those are both 50-inch trails. Trail 87 will take us up over to Upper Box Creek Reservoir. We'll head south on Trail 86 all the way down to where it meets the O1. We'll cut over to O2, and we'll bring the O2 back into town. It's not a long ride today. It is slow moving for a lot of it, but it's just under 50 miles total. Let's just get this going. I'm really excited to get this day started. Really excited to share this adventure with you. This is the point here where I guess you could say Barney Lake Trail proper begins. I mean, it is marked now all the way down to the turnoff of the O2 is PST 94. It didn't used to be. It didn't even used to be a PST It was never a Paiute Trail as far as I know, but it was adopted, I guess, as part of the Paiute. It was just a Forest Service. I think it was 194. I don't remember. But now it is marked as a Paiute side trail. And I assume maybe future map updates, the Paiute Trail will be on it. But the current Paiute Trail maps don't have the Barney Lake Trail on it. So I hope I kind of showed you the way to get here. You just head out of Marysville on the O2 around the mountain a little bit, and you'll come to an intersection. There's 2 lefts and straight on O2. You take the second left onto that Anderson Canyon Road, and I believe there's a sign there, PST 94. And from there on, just follow the signs. Up in the mountain a ways up at Anderson Canyon, you make that quick right and then a quick left, and then all the way up the mountain to the fence line, turn right, and that's where the signage starts. And from here it is all 50-inch. This is where things get fun. We are going to regroup again right at the tree line, and yeah, we're going to continue on. because this is the last day that all three groups will be riding together, Dan wanted to get a group photo with everyone together. And not everyone is here, but almost everyone is here. Dan got his drone up, got some really great shots of the group. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that, Dan. He's leading Group 1, so he hung out here for quite a while with his group to wait for Group 2 and us in Group 3 to show up to get these shots. Really appreciate him doing that. And while we're on the subject of thanking people, again, since this is the last day, I just want to take a minute to thank our ride leaders and tail gunners that really helped me make all of this possible. Couldn't have done it without them. Dan, the old buzzard, he led Group 1, and his co-pilot / navigator, his granddaughter Aspen. Appreciate her coming down and helping out. Big thanks to Ron for coming all the way down here to lead Group 2. I mean, Dan and Ron come a long ways to come down here and help us do this, and appreciate them both. And also, let's not forget our tail gunners. We got Rick and his wife Donita. They were tail gunning for Ron. And we have Matt and his wife Shauna. They were the tail gunners for Dan and Aspen. And let's not forget TJ. TJ was our tail gunner for Group 3. Thanks to TJ for my brother has a term for this. We call it a mandatory opportunity. And I appreciate TJ taking the mandatory opportunity to be our tail gunner for Group 3. Yeah, could not do it without these people. They were such a big help. And, you know, I've said it before, but it's like you'd love to just come down here and just be on vacation. And these guys are willing to take on a little work and a little responsibility during their vacation to make sure that everyone else has a great vacation. And all of that work and it's just not lost on us, plus the miles they had to drive to get here. Really appreciate them for stepping up. So as we leave Barney Lake, we just head east a little bit, and we end up running into the 01. Now the 01, we're going to turn right, and we're going to head south just a few miles. I don't know, it's a couple of miles, until we get to the south end gate of Trail 89. We're going to head up Trail 89 until we get Trail 87. This is somewhere about in the middle of Trail 89. Cross this boardwalk again. This is always fun. Just across the boardwalk, the trail splits off. Trail 87 goes to the right, and Trail 89 continues to the left. Since we did Trail 89 yesterday, we're going to hang a right, and we are going to do Trail 87. Trail 87 is a trail that we don't do often, just because it takes us off of the 89, and it takes us up over to Box Creek, and from there it's all roads, so we don't take it often, but it's a pretty good way to work it in when, if you go up the Barney Lake Trail and do this little jaunt on the 01 and 89. It's a good way to get to it, and it's just another 50-inch trail for everyone to experience, and it really is a pretty cool trail. I mean, we are a little late in the season, so the leaves have fallen a little bit, but it's still a pretty great 50-inch trail. This is where we come along to Trail 86. This is at Upper Box Creek Reservoir. We pull in here to take a little break and use the facilities. We caught up to Group 2, so we got to visit with them for a little bit, and then they split. So we hung out here just a little while to let Group 2 get ahead a little ways. And then, we head south on Trail 86. Pretty easy, pretty much roads all the way back home now. 86 will take all the way down to where it hits the 01. We'll turn right on the 01, then we'll end up at the intersection where the 01 meets the 02, and we will just take the 02 back into town as usual. Just running up on the end of a really great event. Now, like I said, this is the last day where all three groups are riding together. I didn't have a ride planned for tomorrow. A lot of people took the opportunity just to head home tomorrow, which is Saturday. That some of the guys that drove a long ways, it gave them a few days to get home so they didn't have to hurry home. Totally get it. A lot of other people had plans to just take the free day and take a drive down south to see some of the parks and stuff in Utah. We're not too far away. A lot of people did that, and I did come up with a ride to do tomorrow. For those that were interested, I'll explain it in the next video. The Max Read had always been on my list of things to do. It was kind of my initial day one ride, but where the 01 up there was closed, they did open up the Max Read, but you could only get to it from the north end at Fremont. And I really wanted to, whoever was willing, I wanted them to see the Max Read, so I did put a ride together tomorrow, but we had to take kind of the long way around to the Max Read. But this pretty much does it for day 3. Thanks to everyone that came out. We had so many people come down, like I said, and we were just overwhelmed with the support and just the number of people that showed up to ride on the Paiute Trail. And again, thanks to the ride leaders and the tail gunners, everyone that put this together. Thanks to South 40 RV Park for hosting this massive group of people. What a great place to stay. The town of Marysville, it'll always be my adopted hometown. I just love the town of Marysville, love the Paiute Trail. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to share this with folks and share this with friends and people that I've known for many years. And there's a lot of people that have wanted to come down here, and this was kind of just the push they needed to make the trip down to the Paiute. Yeah, the fire kind of killed my plans for day 1 and day 2 over in the Tushers. I'm not going to do this in 2025. I really want to let that mountain above Marysville recover from the fire. Maybe 2027 we'll come back down. I'll try this again, but we'll see. Yeah, that's it for the group. Stay tuned for one more video with the small group that we're going to do tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the trail.